Right, okay then. So we're here with
Luke.
Luke, and you're a Man City fan, yeah?
Yeah.
How would you analyse that game?
We were just slow. It just looked, obviously, Newcastle looked like they were happy with a draw. Obviously, penalties, it is what it is. You know, he gets one-on-one with a keeper. It's tough, but yeah, we just looked slow at all times. It's obviously tough, you know, the loss of Rodri and then, you know, getting Gundo and Kovacic to go in there and replace him. It's a big loss, but I think we'll adapt and we'll be absolutely fine. It's the first game where we've had to adapt, and you know we're a bit slow, but we'll come good.
Yeah, so just to bring it up to speed with Newcastle, we've pulled in results all season, but the performances have been not great.
Well,
and then today we've pulled our socks
Yeah, that's
up.
what you need. You know, you come in with the best team in the land and the world's coming to play at your ground. You know, it ups it a little bit for you. You've got that motivation to do it, and you know, fair play to you. You've played the game, and you know. Bit of times we thought we were playing Arsenal again at home, but you know you've got to do it. It's sportsmanship, and yeah, you grind the results out, and that's what you need. You know, if you're fighting for your top four, if you're not playing well, you've got to grind the results out, and you know, hopefully sooner or later you pick up results by playing better. But it is what it is. You know, if you'd have asked me at the start, I'd have been a bit disappointed with a draw. But the way we played, we had to grind the draw out. You know, at the end you defended well, and it is what it is.
Yeah, and who was your man of the match for both teams today?
So man of the match for you is obviously Gordon looked sharp, getting in behind. But for me, I think it was more Joe Linton. Joe Linton was everywhere on that pitch today. You know, physical guy, bit head loss at times, but he looked composed. And I think it's out of them two, it's tough to call. So probably because he scored the goal, it'll be Anthony Gordon. You know. But yeah, Joe Linton gets a good shout out there as well.
Yeah,
Very
and
compact.
then the million-dollar question with you guys and any Man City fan is the charges that are hanging above your head at the minute. How much does that concern you as a Man City fan?
Not one bit. Not one bit.
bit.
At the end of the club have came out and said to us, you know, that there's irrefutable evidence that at the end of the day that we've not done anything wrong. I'll stand by my club. You know, if it comes out that we are guilty in whatever way, shape or form, then we have to deal with the consequences as is. But I'm fully confident that our club, at the end of the day, you know, the Premier League, I won't go into it too much. There's certainly a red cartel knocking about here and there, Arsenal, Liverpool, United. And at the end of the day, yous are going to be in the same boat as us. At the end of the day, they don't want other clubs coming up and, you know, knocking the authority of these big red clubs. And not just them, but other clubs, Chelsea as well. And yeah, at the end of the day, we're the example piece, and the APT came in because of yous. At the end of the day, yous will be the next hit piece. It's us now, it'll be yous when you're succeeding.
It's been us a little bit for a little while if you speak to a lot of Newcastle fans. I want to just play devil's advocate for two kind of scenarios here. If there is a point deduction and it means you guys don't qualify for Champions League, how big of a hit is that for Man City? Obviously you've got loads of money behind you.
Fancy Europa League away day anyway.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, Conference League, better away days. I'm not fussed by it at the end of the day. We've won the Champions League now, more than Arsenal can say, you know, as another example. But, you know, if it's a year out the Champions League, then so be it. You know, other clubs have done it, and yeah, we'll be there as well.
And the other one, which is very extreme, but it is being told about, if there is a relegation or something like that, what would that mean for the future of Man City? Do you think a lot of players would leave and it would take ages to rebuild? Or
it is what it is, you know. There'll probably be relegation clauses in new contracts that come around, you know. You have to take it part and parcel of the game. But for me, if we're relegated, we'll probably still come back up and win a Premier League quicker than United would. So it doesn't bother me one bit. It probably motivate Pep to stay even more. So bring it on. I wouldn't mind York away or something like that anyway. So yeah.
And then FFP or PSR, whatever it's called nowadays. What's your thoughts on that in general? Because it's being reviewed apparently at the minute and looked at as a lot of.
Why is it being reviewed? Why is it being reviewed?
I'm curious to get yours.
Just have a look at a few journalists. The Daily Mail, of course, City have won something against the APT. They've put a hit piece out. You know, City have fought back. They've beat the Premier League potentially, allegedly. And yeah, it's just you know, they don't want these established clubs to progress. Yeah. That is all it is. They want the top four. That's what gets them the money. They do not want new and established clubs coming in and, you know, rocking the boat. You know, you look at Villa, you look at Newcastle, you look at City for the last 15 years. They don't want that establishment knocked, and that is what they're doing, trying to keep all these kind of clubs moving the goalposts when it suits them. You know, United have been £40 million in COVID given to them as like a leeway.
Ridiculous.
You know, they've been fined £100 million for financial fair play. We're not even the ones who have been fined for it. We got away with it with Cass. You know, Cass came through and obviously at the end of the day said that, you know, all we did was non-compliant. So at the end of the day, they're just moving the goalposts to see, you know, suit them.
Is it a bad thing for the Premier League in general? Because it's a bit anti-competitive. I understand why it was fetched in to maybe stop people from going bankrupt and stuff like that. But does it stop top teams being able to afford the best talent and making the Premier League the best?
You look at Newcastle when they came fourth. They got the Champions League, and then the following season they're not able to then go and spend and develop their squad. Their lacklustre squad Obviously, with injuries and stuff, they were a bit unfortunate the following season. But at the end of the day, they can't go out and spend. You know, we're very fortunate that when we took over in 2008, we were able to spend. But now it seems that there's so much restrictions. Like, look at Villa this season, get Champions League, they've had to sell their best player, Douglas Luiz. It's a case of that they're not able to thrive because they've got restrictions in place until they earn the money.
And then people selling homegrown players as well, which is ridiculous.
And at the end of the day, if it's in any other line of work, if it's a business, if it's, you know, like a company, for example, you're allowed to put your own money in. It's at your own risk. Why can't clubs do that? I get that the bankruptcy, you know, with like Portsmouth and things like that have happened. But at the end of the day, you know, if it's their risk, then so be it.
Do you reckon it will get scrapped then, or adjusted?
I think it'll be amendments. I think the Premier League handbook will be amended. They're probably taking their time now to be consulted and see what they can actually put in. But to be honest, a 6-year-old could write that Premier League handbook, so I'm not looking into it too much.
Yeah, and then where do you think Newcastle are going to finish at the end of the season, just to finish up?
Top six. Top six. If they keep grinding results out and then start to play a bit better, they'll easily coast top six. But I think.
Where do you think Man U are going to finish as well? As a Man City?
I hope eighth again. You know, keep them down there. Keep Ten Hag at the wheel. 10 more years.
You're not rate Ten Hag?
No, not at all. We let him win the FA Cup so he could keep his job. That's it at the end of the day. But nah, they beat us in the FA Cup. But keep Ten Hag at the wheel. So Jim will fix it. That's all that matters.
Perfect. Right there, we'll go then, fella. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. That it? Right. Okay. So we're here with
Tinashe.
Patricia.
What's your name? Oh, he's gone blank. What's your name?
Camilla.
And how would you analyse that game as Man City fans?
Yeah, it was a fair game, but
I think we
the
could have
penalty,
won
yeah.
that one.
Yeah.
And we didn't think the penalty was necessary there. They were supposed not to just give the penalty. We should have won the game.
There's a couple of penalty appeals. There's a red card appeal. What's your thoughts on the controversial incidents?
Yeah, I think that was a penalty, but you know, sometimes the refereeing might be tricky.
Yeah.
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 But I think it was supposed to be a penalty.
Yeah, and then what's your thoughts on Newcastle in general? Obviously, we've got the massive oil behind you guys, oil money. You've got the massive oil money behind Newcastle. You are being caught up at the minute with a load of controversy, with potential ban, relegation charges. What's your expectation, not hopes, on what will happen with the charges? What do you think might happen?
Anything can happen, but I'm hopeful it's not going to affect our performance and everything else. And at the same time, I think Newcastle is performing well, and they are really doing well.
They play really good, especially the second half. They were really on point. So yeah.
I mentioned in the last interview, I didn't want to take anything away from Newcastle's performance, but you were missing a lot of key players. You are missing Rodri, who's out for the season. You're missing De Bruyne. Is this going to be a case of injuries knacking up your season a little bit, or what? Because obviously Rodri's a huge player for you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, it's going to be a bit difficult without Rodri, and sometimes De Bruyne is not there. But we just hope with time the team will get back together and make sure that we win all the games.
Are you expecting to win the title without Rodri?
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
You've got the quality and depth.
Yeah,
Yes.
we do. We just
I know
hope
with
the
time they'll
yeah.
put themselves together and
The team will
definitely
just
are
put
back.
themselves together and they'll perform really good. Yeah.
So he's expecting maybe a big points deduction, any relegation, or do you think you'll be fine because you've got obviously expensive lawyers? It's against the Premier League. What do you reckon?
Nah, we are not expecting that.
Yeah.
But anything can happen.
Yeah.
But we are hopeful
Fingers
things will
crossed,
go.
nothing will happen. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. There we go then. Thank you guys very much. Appreciate it. Enjoy the